Hello everyone, my name is Jaden Moore, and today we will be discussing the specifics of the spectrophotometer. First, what is a spectrophotometer? A spectrophotometer is a device used to measure the amount and specific wavelengths of light absorbed by a specific sample. Generally, spectrophotometers are used to measure the concentrations of samples, and if you already know the concentration of a sample, it can also be used to measure impurities and possible contamination within whatever sample you are measuring. So, how does the spectrophotometer work? So, it begins with the use of a light source, for example, a light bulb. And the light emitted from this source is then channeled through a lens, and it is then channeled into a device known as a monochromator. There are a couple different types of monochromators that can be used. When working with visible light wavelengths, a prism is generally used, while grating is generally used while working with ultraviolet and infrared wavelengths. After the light is divided using the monochromator, it is then channeled through a slit, which then isolates whatever specific wavelength you will be measuring. After passing through the slit, it is passed through the sample contained in a cuvette. After passing through the sample, it is then channeled into some form of electronic sensor, which then channels into your specific data output program that is used on your computer. So when using a spectrophotometer, there are a few important tricks to keep in mind to make sure that you are collecting samples as accurately as possible. First, it is important to make sure that cuvettes containing samples are kept as clean as possible, so that way we can ensure that all measurements are accurate. It is also important to make sure that the used light source is warmed up before being used for experiments to make sure that the proper amount of light is emitted for the experiment. Thirdly, and finally, it's important to make sure that the spectrophotometer is properly calibrated to make sure that all collected measurements are accurate. These are my sources used. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.